Hi friends, welcome to Pathogenesis, where we understand the disease. Welcome to topic 3 of Leukemia Bite series, where we will be discussing management and treatment guidelines for hairy cell leukemia. Minimum essential workup for every hairy cell patient has been advised. These include complete history, physical examination including spleen size, liver, and to look thoroughly for any lymph nodes. Calculate the performance status of the patient and get a CBC with differential and peripheral smear examination done. Also important is a comprehensive metabolic panel, in particular, close evaluation of renal function considering the renal route of excretion of drugs used in HCl treatment and serum LDH levels. A bone marrow biopsy is required with or without aspirate. Hepatitis B is often reactivated during treatment, so immunity against Hep B needs to be documented. Now the question arises as when do we treat? Clinical judgment is required in the decision to initiate therapy because not all patients with newly diagnosed HCl will require immediate treatment. Presence of one cytopenia, that is ANC less than 1 per nanoliter, a HB less than 10 gram per deciliter, and a platelet count of less than 100 per nanoliter. Physical discomfort due to splenomegaly, presence of systemic symptoms, recurrent infections, progressive lymphocytosis, unexplained weight loss, excessive fatigue, and symptomatic organomegaly. Asymptomatic disease is best managed by close observation, 3 monthly follow-up for first year and 6 monthly follow-up later. Follow-up is done by a CBC, PS, and assessment of spleen size. Splenectomy is indicated when the spleen size is greater than 10 cm and simultaneously there is low level of bone marrow infiltration. For patients with indications for treatment, first-line therapy with purine analogs, cladribine or pentostatin is recommended. Both agents have shown significant activity resulting in durable remissions in patients with previously untreated HCl. Due to high response rates of purine analog monotherapy, the role of rituximab in patients with untreated HCl is unclear. Observation until indication for additional treatment is recommended for patients who achieve a CR with initial therapy. Enrollment on a clinical trial and treatment with an alternative purine analog with or without rituximab or interferon alpha or rituximab monotherapy are included as options for patients with less than CR to initial therapy. Treatment options for patients with relapsed refractory HCl depend on the quality and duration of remission to initial therapy. Patients with disease relapse greater than 2 years may benefit from retreatment with the same analog with or without rituximab. Other options include alternative purine analog with or without rituximab or rituximab monotherapy. Patients with disease relapse within 2 years after achieving CR can be treated the same way as patients with incomplete response. For progressive disease after second-line therapy, clinical trial, vemurafenib with or without rituximab or ibrutinib are appropriate options. We will discuss in brief about various treatment modalities, beginning with purine analogs. Pentostatin and cladribine are the most commonly used therapeutic agents in HCl and have shown to induce complete response rates up to 80 to 85%. These drugs should not be administered to patients with active, life-threatening or chronic infections. Toxic effects associated include neutropenia and thrombocytopenia. Cladribine and pentostatin inhibit DNA polymerase and adenosine deaminase and prevent DNA repair, thereby promoting DNA damage. Vemurafenib and dabrafenib are inhibitors of RAF-MEK-ER pathway. RAF signaling pathways can be blocked by inhibition of BRAF by agents such as vemurafenib and dabrafenib. Inhibition of MEK pathway by tremetinib and selumetinib also inhibits the pathway. Vemurafenib is an oral agent that inhibits the thymidine kinase enzyme and specifically targets cells containing BRAF mutations. It is shown to be highly effective in relapsed and refractory HCl. The main toxic effects are skin rash, photosensitivity, and arthralgia. Ibrutinib, a Bruton tyrosine kinase inhibitor, has shown excellent results in CLL and mantle cell lymphoma. A clinical trial with single-agent ibrutinib in relapsed refractory HCl is ongoing. BCR is composed of two immunoglobulin chains and CD79A, which have an intracellular activation motif. It transmits signals to intracellular tyrosine kinases. A BTK inhibitor is the most promising treatment for HCl and is currently under evaluation. Next, moving on to the new upcoming treatment, that is monoclonal antibodies and immunotoxins. HCl B cells overexpress CD20, 22 and 25. These are the common surface epitopes exploited for therapy. Rituximab is an anti-CD20 monoclonal antibody. Immunotoxins against CD22 like BL22 and that against CD25 HA22 are in clinical trials. Recombinant immunotoxins combine binding domain of plant or bacterial toxins with monoclonal antibody. These agents facilitate the entry of toxin into the cell cytoplasm, blocking protein synthesis, thereby inhibiting the rough endoplasmic reticulum. CR is defined as the normalization of blood counts, hemoglobin greater than 11 without transfusion, absolute neutrophil count greater than 1500, and platelets greater than 1 lakh. Absence of HCl cells by morphological examination, regression of splenomegaly by physical examination, and absence of disease symptoms. Available evidence suggests that achievement of a CR is associated with a longer duration of relapse-free survival. Response assessment for cladribine is done 4 months after therapy and pentostatin after normalization of counts and absence of splenomegaly. If there is any increase in symptoms or greater than equal to 25% increase in splenomegaly or a similar fall in CBC parameters, it is classified as a progressive disease. Disease is said to relapse morphologically when there is reappearance of hairy cells in the peripheral blood or aspirate or biopsy. Reappearance of cytopenia classifies as hematological relapse. Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, please share and also subscribe so that you never miss any of the pathogenesis updates. Pathogenesis, helping you to understand the disease.